Hey everyone, Elliot here. And do you like my sweater? Because I just found it. I had this lost for so long and I forgot that it was so giant on me. Like, damn. But I mean, anyway, it's comfy cozy and it's got a little dog on it. So, who is ready for something that we need comfy sweaters and little dogs for? And that is some more urban legends. But this time I'm not going to be doing just one urban legend. No, I'm going to read from some website. It's called Answers Africa, which I think is weird. I have the 10 most scary urban myths and legends around the world. And I've heard of a few of these. They're shorter, so that's why I can do so many. Oh my god. I'm clicking so many things. Okay. So, I've heard of some of these. And, I don't know which ones are true or not. I wish I had looked that up before I pressed record, because I'm too lazy to have to record another one. Say, oh, please, hair. Well, that made it look worse. Okay. So, for number 10, this one I've heard of. It's called the backseat killer. So, I gotta find where it starts. Okay, so actually I kind of know this one. So, a girl is out late at night and she stops for gas or something. She like stops to do something. Yeah, okay. She stops for gas. I'm gonna just read it because I'm gonna mess this up. Sorry. So, a woman's out late at night in the middle of nowhere and her car is running low on fuel. She finally finds a little gas station and the attendant agrees to fill up the tank, although she feels he's acting a little strange. When she offers her card to pay, the attendant says she has to come inside to sign, and once inside, blocks the door so she can't leave. Thoroughly afraid now, she winds up to scream, but the attendant hushes her and says, "A man has climbed into the backseat of your car and is hiding there. I didn't want him to know I'd seen him." They call the police, and the man turns out to be a serial killer who intended to make her his next victim. Although the story itself is an urban legend, it's an object lesson to always remember to lock your car. So that is actually not the version I heard. The version I heard is that a girl stops for gas and she gets back in her car. She goes inside, gets something. She goes back in her car and she starts driving home. Well, there's a car behind her and he's following her. And he keeps putting on, I don't know what they're called, which I probably should. This is probably why I failed my perp test all the time. The really, really bright lights. He keeps turning those on and then he turns them off again. And he'll turn them on again and he'll turn them off again. And she's getting really frustrated and scared because he's like just following her everywhere. So she finally gets to her house and he's still there and he parks outside. And she gets out of the car, starts screaming at him like, "Why are you following me, you creep? Why are you turning on those lights? You could have blinded me." And he goes, "There's a person in the backseat of your car. Every time he got up and it looked like he was trying to hurt you, I would turn on the lights so he would know I'd see him and he would go back down." And then they call the cops and it ends up being the serial killer. So that's the version I heard. Okay, I need to sit like this. Sorry. Okay, so this one is called the Hitchhiker Killer. I actually have not heard of this one, so. On a similar subject in this story, a woman is getting some gas and tells the attendant she's on her way to pick up her daughter from class and where that is, and then a man approaches her, saying his rental car has died and would she give him a lift to an urgent appointment, near where her daughter's class is being held. When she agrees, he places his briefcase on the back seat and says he's going to the men's room. But when the attendant is finished, she pays, sees she's going to be late, and forgetting she's waiting for the man to come back, quickly drives off to get her daughter. It's only when they reach home she notices the briefcase and remembers. So she opens the case, looking for some ID to contact, and finds nothing inside but a roll of duct tape and a knife. That's terrifying. Like, I read urban legends or like myths and stuff like this, and then I get terrified to like let anyone. Like, if I get a car, I'm terrified to let anyone in my car. I'm terrified to go in a car with anyone. So I mean, I'm probably not gonna be getting rides from anyone anytime soon. So you're welcome. You won't have to waste gas on me, I guess. Okay, so this one's called The Babysitter and the Madman. And I read a little bit of this before the video started. And I've heard there's a lot of different versions of this one. I don't think I've heard this one in particular, but there's different versions everywhere. So everyone's probably heard a version of it. A teenage girl is babysitting young children in a large, somewhat isolated house, and with the children upstairs in bed, she settles down to watch TV. Suddenly, the phone rings, making her jump. Then, when she answers, a strange man's voice tells her that he is coming to get her, and she slams the phone down in fright. She sits down again, and 15 minutes later the phone rings. This time he laughs and says he is getting closer. And now, thoroughly terrified, the girl calls the police. Okay, sorry. Every time I read these, I get very self-conscious that there's someone behind me. They say it's probably just a prank call, but if he rings again, they'll try to trace the call. So keep him on the line as long as you can. Sure enough, it rings, and she does her best. And when he breathes... Oh, no. That was bad. Oh, there was some sound from outside. Oh, I don't like it. Okay. Whew. But when he breathes heavily down the line and says he's coming for her, and it's only a matter of time, she panics and slams the phone down anyway. She decides to get the children to leave, but just then the phone rings. It's the police. Get out of the house now. He's inside the house and calling from the upstairs extension. She runs from the house, and when the police arrive, they find the children dead and a bloody axe on the floor, and the madman has escaped to do it all again. Ooh, I don't like that one. Oh, no. That makes me uncomfortable. Oh, my God. So the other versions of that aren't exactly the same. It's always the one with the girls babysitting, and yeah, I was thinking about the one where it's always like the clown statue or something, and the parents are all, we don't have a clown statue, and then the kids are dead, and it's like a real clown or something like that. I don't know. So this one is called Buried Alive, which is honestly one of my biggest fears, is being buried alive, because that's scary. A very old woman who had been ill for some time finally passed away, leaving her husband of more than 60 years devastated. He couldn't believe that she was actually dead and had to be prized away from her so she could be prepared for her funeral. She was buried in a simple coffin in the family burial plot at the bottom of the backyard. And all the time her husband was protesting so much he had to be sedated. That night he had a nightmare that his wife was hysterically trying to scratch her way out of the coffin, so he phoned the doctor and begged to have his wife exhumed. And this happened again and again, every night for a week. Finally, the doctor gave in, and the coffin was retrieved and opened. To everyone's horror, the hands of the wife were battered and bloody, with bent, broken nails, and there were obvious scratches on the inside of the coffin lid. Oh, that is one of my biggest fears. Okay, I have a story about that. I think it was somewhere in Europe. I don't remember where. At a time, a lot of people were being buried alive. So when you got buried, they put a string down in the ground that led to a rope, and someone would stay there for like a few nights, and you'd stay there, and if the bell rang, you had to unbury them, because that means they were alive. And, can you just imagine that? It's horrible. Okay, the cursed videotape. I don't think I know what this one is. Oh, this one's supposed to be really scary. Okay, what is this? Number 6. 4 girls go to a video rental store to rent a movie, but can't decide on which one to watch. They ask the assistant, who says she has just the thing out back and goes to get it. In the meantime, the girls see an unlabeled tape on the counter and decide to pinch it, just to see what's on it. When they get home, they watch the movie, then put in the filch tape. Filch? I don't know what that says. As soon as they press play, the power goes out in the house, but the TV is still on and the recording plays. It is of a black witch being burned to death, and just as she is about to be consumed, she cries out that all who saw her die will be cursed to meet their own deaths within 48 hours. Then the tape splutters and stops. Of course, the girls are a bit shocked. There's someone like right behind me. Oh my god, I hate it. Hate it. I'm gonna just sit this way from now on. I don't like this. So, I'm so sorry that I do this. It's bad. Of course, the girls are a bit shocked, but they don't really think anything of it and sneak the tape back when they return the movie. 2 days later, the police find their car, apparently driven off the road into a tree, and all 4 girls are dead. However, although the considerable damage to the car shows that there was another vehicle involved, it must have been badly damaged. The other car was never found. Well, nice. Good job. Okay, this one's called Ghost Tracks. It's number 5. In San Antonio, Texas, there is a rail crossing that is haunted. Legend has it that back in the 1930s and 40s, a school bus stalled... I just read this one. A school bus stalled on the tracks and was hit by a train, killing all the passengers instantly. Now, if you stop 50 yards from the tracks and put your car into neutral, it will start rolling forward, uphill. Oh my god, I hate when there are noises and I'm reading stuff. Oh wait, I'm kidding, I didn't read this one. This is a different one I read. It will not stop until the car is clear on the tracks of the other side. Also, if the car is dusty or you deliberately sprinkle it with powder, you will see handprints on the back of the car. Those noises need to stop. I don't like them. It's just someone upstairs, but still. This is because the ghosts of the children will push the cars away from the tracks to stop anyone else suffering the same fate they did. Yeah, I read that kind of story, but it was like in story form. Okay, so this was called The Hook, and this one is famous. This one is big. This one, a lot of people know about. So I just call The Hook Man, okay. If you've seen, there's an episode of Supernatural, like season 1 about this, so if you watch that, you probably know. 2 young teenagers are making out in a car when an announcement on the radio says a murderer has escaped from the prison and he is armed and dangerous. The mood broken, the frightened girl insists her boyfriend take her home, and he finally agrees, but says he has to take a leak first. And she has to lock the doors after he leaves and only open them when, wait, where was I? Oh. And only open them when he cuts back. After quite a while, he hasn't returned. It becomes obvious something has happened. She decides to drive the car to look for him, but the keys are missing. Then she starts hearing scraping noises outside and huddles in the middle of the back seat, terrified, until it finally gets light, and she decides to make a run for the highway. She gets out and sprints up to the main road, then looks back and sees the body of her boyfriend hanging from a tree over the car, swinging slightly in the breeze, his feet just scraping along the roof. So, that's a different urban legend. That one's not the Hook Man. The Hook Man, that one is based off the Hook Man. It's called like the Dead Boyfriend or stuff like that. But it's based on the Hook Man story. It was supposed to be to keep teenagers from going out at night, like alone and making out. That's a bad way to do it. Okay. That picture is not okay. But this, number 3, everyone has heard of it. The kidney thief. Everyone hears about, you go out, you get drugged, and you wake up in an ice bath with your kidney stolen. A businessman is staying at a hotel for a couple nights and decides to have a couple drinks in the bar before going to bed. In the bar, a young woman sits down next to him, and they get chatting. She buys him another drink, and he remembers nothing more of the evening. The next morning, he wakes up in the bathtub, up to his neck in ice, with a tube protruding from a very neat incision in his lower back, and a note propped up beside the bath that says, "You need urgent medical assistance. Call 911. As soon as he describes the situation to the operator, she says, "Is there a tube sticking out of your lower back?" And when he says yes, she says, "Okay, don't move. The ambulance is on its way. I'm afraid you could become a victim of a criminal ring that steals human organs to sell. They've taken one of your kidneys." Now, the thing is that I don't remember. This is either real, but not often, or it's not real at all, but it's just really, it's told a lot. But, I don't remember. Like, it's not, if it was real, it happened a long time ago. It doesn't happen a lot today, but, you know, who knows. Number 2 is a roommate. Oh, I'm scared. Okay. The roommate is one of the most scary urban legends. Okay, that's okay. Late one evening, a young college girl decided to collect her books from her room, ready for the next day so she could spend the night at her boyfriend's dorm. Knowing her roommate would be sleeping, oh, I know which one this was. This is also in the Hook Man episode of Supernatural. Knowing her roommate would be sleeping, she didn't turn on the light, but stumbled around for several minutes as she collected what she needed and left. The next day, she came home after classes to find the police outside her room and crime scene tape all around. When she said she lived there, the policeman looked at her a bit strangely and asked if she had been there last night, but without turning on the light. Confused, she said, "Yes, how did you know?" The policeman led her into the room. There was no sign of her roommate, but on the wall was a message written in blood. "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" Yeah, that's in Supernatural too. That episode is called The Hook Man, and they take that first one, and then they put the first one about the boyfriend dying, and they put that one in, but they say it's the Hook Man that killed her. And she, like, stays the night in the dorm. Okay, number 1, knock knock. I don't know if I want to read this. I'll do it. If I can't sleep for a few nights, this is why. Okay. Give me a sec. I must prepare myself for this. If this isn't scary, I'm gonna cry. 2 youngsters were left alone in the house for a short time late at night while their parents popped out, telling them not to answer the door under any circumstances, and that their neighbors knew they were going to be gone for a while, so if there were any problems, they could go next door. The kids watched TV for a while, then went to bed, but a bit later they were jolted awake by a knocking at the door. Knock, knock, knock. They did as they'd been told and ignored it, but the knocking came again, and finally the sister got up to go down and see who it was. The brother waited a while longer, but his sister didn't come back, and he heard nothing more. Becoming uneasy, he decided to go next door in his pajamas, padded down to the door and in the dark, and slipped out. The neighbors were still up and greeted him with the news that a murderer had killed someone only a few blocks away earlier in the evening. Before I continue on, they greeted him with that? They're young. Remember? It said youngsters? Oh my god. I'm scared. Whew. Whew. When they realized the sister was unaccounted for, they told him to stay there while they went back to the house with a gun. And when they got there, they found the sister's body on the floor and a discarded knife on her brother's empty bed. Wait, what? I'm confused. I'm really confused now. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna reread that. Okay, so sister goes downstairs, doesn't come back. Okay, so he goes next door. His neighbors are up. They greet him, tell him that a murderer killed someone, which is weird as fuck. Why would you greet someone with that? They realize this is gone. They told him to stay there. Oh, they told him to stay at their house. Oh. Okay, I get it. So, they were all... So, little brother goes over to their house. And they're all, oh my god, stay here. I'm gonna bring a gun to your house. So they go in, and they go into the bedroom, and the girl's dead body's on the floor with a knife on the brother's bed. So, I'm still lost. That one wasn't as scary as I thought it was gonna be. But, I do have one more, which is my favorite story ever. It's not that scary, but it was when I was a kid. And I first heard it, and I was terrified. And this is not the only reason I am Buddhist, which is one of the reasons I don't have, like, a bed frame. I just have, like, the box spring on the mattress. I'll go into that in some later video. But the other reason I don't have a... Oh, my God. The other reason I don't have that is because, like, because it's just a box spring on the mattress, there's no underneath. This is one of the reasons I did this. So, the story is, it's called... I don't know what it's called. Sorry, I'm gonna just name it Lick. I think that's actually what it's called. You may have heard this story before, and I'm actually going to tell another one after this. It's a funny one. I'm going to end this on a good note, because, oh god, I don't like it. But, so a girl is asked if she could house sit and, like, dog sit a family's house for a little while. And she says yes. So, the two parent people leave. And the girl, oh wait. Well, let me start over. I already messed this up. So she goes to the house to go house sit. And they say, okay, well, at night our dog will sleep under your bed. It's just what he does. If you wake up in the middle of the night, put your hand under the bed. If there's one lick, everything's okay, go back to bed. If there's 2 licks, that means that something may be off, so you might want to be a little worried, but I mean, everything's still okay. 3 licks means get out of the house right now. So she blows it off like, yeah, whatever. So that night she goes to bed and she's like, well, maybe the dog does do it. So she puts her hand in the bed and she gets 1 lick. So she's like, okay, cool. So she goes to bed. She wakes up in the middle of the night and she feels a little bit uneasy. So she puts her hand back under the bed and she feels 2 licks. She's like, oh, okay, but I mean, everything's still okay. So she goes back to sleep. She wakes up a 3rd time in the middle of the night and she hears water dripping from the bathroom and then she gets really worried. She puts her hand in the bed and she feels 3 licks. So she freaks out and runs into the bathroom to figure out what this sound was. And hanging from the tub are 3 dead dogs, or the dead dog. There's blood everywhere, and it's dripping. And written on the mirror in blood is humans can lick too. And, that one creeps me out. Like, in case you don't understand, because I didn't get it at first, a guy came in and killed the dog and hit him to the bed and licked her hand, and he was gonna kill her. And he probably does at the end, I don't know. That one scares me. That one scared me for the longest time ever. Like, I'm terrified of that story. It's bad. And then I'm going to end this on a weird note. It's a scary story for little kids, but I mean, for us, it's just funny. It's called The Ribbon. Everyone's probably heard it. So, a little girl, she moves in next door, and this little boy next door falls in love with her. And they start hanging out, and she realizes she has a ribbon around her neck. And she does every day. So he's like, why do you have that ribbon around your neck? And she's like, I'll tell you later. So they go into high school and they start dating. And he goes, now that we're dating, will you tell me why you wear that ribbon around your neck? And she goes, I'll tell you when we're married. Well, they end up getting married. And on their wedding night, he goes, now that we're married, will you tell me why you wear that ribbon around your neck? And she said, I'll tell you I'm trying to remember what it was. I'll tell you when we have our kids, or something like that. So they have their first child, and he goes, now that we have our first child, will you tell me why you wear that ribbon around your neck? She goes, I'll tell you when I die. So then the girl gets really, really sick, and she's in bed, and the doctor says that she's going to die soon. So he's crying, he's saying, like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And she goes, now that I'm dying, I will tell you why I wear this ribbon. And he's like, oh, okay, what? Well, she goes to undo the ribbon, and she does, and then her head falls off. So that's that story. This video went on for a really long time. So there are some urban myths that have me scared now. And I suggest not watching this video at night. I'm not going to put that in the description, though. I'm a horrible person. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, hit the like button down below. I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!